a minute. Hang on. Here's going to be for another open discussion. And that is simply. Hang on, find the right. Where was I looking for it? Open discussion. What would you like to see Marvel do and not do within the MCU now? I say this because, and this is something that John Campea brought up on his show, that there was once upon a time where you'd probably get one or two Marvel movies per year. Then it became three. Then it's gone to a point where there's four, and now you've also got the live stream, not the live stream, the streaming shows with things like, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and you've also got WandaVision, then you got She-Hulk, then you got What If.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say my piece briefly because I'm known for going on tangents, so I'll try and keep mine as brief as possible. I think I would rather see some of Marvel's best writers focus purely on, say, producing maybe two movies per year, because then you're not oversaturating the market with too many movies. So let's say, let's say for next year, we get World War Hulk, and then we get a proper She-Hulk movie. For the sake of discussion, tone down the fourth wall aspects, tone down some of the more political sides, because I know, based upon Madame President's account of what she's seen, that they injected too many political issues within that when they could have streamlined it and made it just a little bit more entertaining. Do that, and then maybe just focus on, say, just two shows on Disney Plus. Just really, all right. Let's say, for the sake of discussion, Oni starts his own wrestling federation. Go with me on this a second.
Oh, God help us.
We'll call it Oni's Extreme Wrestling. So, OEW. He has Raiden focusing on Friday night's Raiden experience. Take that however you want to. And he's got, say, two writers that just focuses on the world title and the tag team title situation, and you have Madam President on Monday Night Oni, just focusing. Yeah, he's gonna love that. And she's focusing on the women's division, and we'll call it the American Middleweight Championship situation. And you're putting, your best creative energy into that. All of a sudden, he comes along and says, "Right, I need you to put in these two new title situations, the crazy Vince Russo championship division, and Kitsune on Raw. You're gonna focus on the Ronda Rousey Appreciation Night. It will tear out." Goes like, nope.
Not happening.
You put too many eggs in one basket, it's going to oversaturate, and you have, too many writers trying to do too many things. This is what made the Dark Knight trilogy work so well, is when you only have maybe no more than 1 to 2 writers just writing things out. That way you can have something that's streamlined, it's cohesive, it's concrete, and there's not too many cooks piling too many things in. I mean, what was it? Scary Movie. I think the original one had 7 writers.
Shit. Okay.
I think they had. Don't quote me on that. And that's too much. If you had 7 writers over the course of 10 movies, that's different, because every once in a while somebody will come along with their own spin and try to put something in that will inject new life into it. But when you have so many people trying to bring too many ideas to the table, it becomes too much. So let's say Raiden wanted to do a 2020s take on Fist of the North Star, like really do like the animation style that Project IG are known for, things like Ghost in the Shell and Blood the Last Vampire. And he has this really cool, slick, modern, streamlined vision of how he wants it to look. And then Freeberg and Seltzer decide they want to come, and he's like, bruh, not gonna happen. And he doesn't even get mad, he just gives him this evil stare of death from Vegeta. It's like, do what now? Like, it's like, dare to test my patience? No. There's the door. Oh, Mr. Nolan, you would like to do a Fist of the North Star movie. What do you have? Well, I have this cohesive idea of taking an origin story and slowly building the character from the ground up, but only having enough references to true hardcore fans will already know the source material there and there out, but provide more than enough information for new time fans to come in. Sir, you're hired. That's the feeling I get with the MCU. Yes, over time, you're expected to produce more because the universe has grown. The universe has grown so much since the first Iron Man movie and the Incredible Hulk movie. Because what people need to remember, from 2008 to 2010, that's all we got. Because 2010, we got Iron Man 2. And I think for 2010, that was it. Because Thor didn't follow until a year later, along with Captain America, the First Avenger. Now, a lot of people say that's, Captain America's a very average movie. I agree to disagree. I think, compared to the other movies that have gone since then, there are other movies that are better critically, but First Avenger, for what it is, it tells a very solid origin story about Captain America, and it's one of Marvel's very few period piece movies. And I like the fact that they set it in World War II and it has this very distinctive look with regards to the movie filter. It's got that very, almost sepia tone from the 40s. The problem that we have now is, when you have Wakanda Forever, which I heard was not as well received as they would have liked it to have been received, along with Quantum Mania, I've heard where people were like kind of mixed with it.
Yeah, a little bit. I will admit to that.
Yeah. It's more or less foreshadowing for phase 5.
Foreshadowing the movie.
So, like I say, what I would like to see done as like a 3 to 4 year plan going forward with Marvel is tone down the amount of movies you've got coming out and actually just say, right, for this next phase, have, say, 3 key writers for your next 5 to 6 movies, and just try to bring it down to, say, 2 to 3 movies per year, because it's getting a little too much. Because I think what they should do, they should have like this, in a similar way, DK of America were given what was called the Sonic Bible at the times. Like, this is the premise, these are the character names, these are their personalities and traits. You have the freedom to have them say what you want, as long as they stick to these character aspects and aesthetics. Don't deviate from it and try to put your personal spin on it, because people, we know when you're trying to inject your personal opinions into the characters, because it shows up on screen. That's what I would like to see happen, and actually say, I don't know, let's just say for the sake of discussion, we finally get Iron Man 4. Let's just say, for argument's sake, bring Jon Favreau in and have him write it. Because whilst I think it's good to have different writers come in, it also helps if you have someone that's a fan of the character and they have a specific vision of how that character should be portrayed and represented. I mean, it'd be like if, say, you have David Koepp writing the Blade movie. Now, David Koepp is a very good screenwriter, considering he did Jurassic Park, The Lost World, and the first Spider-Man movie. But imagine if he knows nothing about Blade, and then Raiden comes along and says, "Hold my beer, I got this." And he puts down this 300-page script saying, "This is Blade." And then you have, like, Marvel read like, "Well, gosh dang." And it's like, yep. And what I'd like to see Marvel do, kind of do for Blade what Matt Reeves did with the Batman. Try to find as much creative freedom in stretching the PG-13 limitations as you can without stepping out of the boundaries, but making Blade have that sense of, I don't want to say adult freedom, but have it come off as less kiddified and more of that psychological horror thriller. Because the Batman, that movie went to places. And if you have that with Blade in the context of what Matt Reeves did for the Batman, I think you'd have something really special for Marvel. So, yeah, essentially, that's what I want Marvel to do for this point going forward. Less quantity, more quality. And Sir Stephen, since you've seen some of the more recent Marvel movies, the same question to you. What do you want to see them do, and what would you rather see them not do?
Hey.
Oh dear.
Well, I just don't really know with Marvel anymore. I mean, I went to see Ant-Man Quantumania, and immediately it was just clear that the story didn't necessarily feel as though it was giving Ant-Man and the rest of his entourage a chance for them to flourish as much as it was the overbearing Phase 5 elephant in the room.
Yes.
And considering where it's going, it feels as though that movie was just like just a reason to get Phase 5 kickstarted after Phase 4 was pretty much a flop at the box office. The only exception to that being Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh,
but
yeah.
That's because people love Spider-Man.
Oh, Sean's brilliant. Could they have the main villain defeated by being yelled at by J. Jonah Jameson? I'll do that. I love that.
I'll allow it.
I mean, the rest of Phase 4 was just all over the place with characters we didn't even know about until this point, or just sequels which were subpar in comparison to the originals. And two of the main offenders for this are Thor: Love and Thunder
Oh no.
and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh no.
Yeah, I will admit that.
For the sake that they brought in legacy characters and just this whole idea of there being a large universe, only to have them killed off. And with Thor: Love and Thunder, they tried to inject too much humor in what should have been a serious story. I mean, when I think of mythology, I think of grand battles, something on a large scale. But no, all we get is just jokes about Zeus wanting to have certain adult-related things.
What?
Oh boy.
Hey, you honestly, MJ, you don't want to know.
Noted.
And the villain and a villain who was just so underwhelming compared to the massive impact he had in recent Marvel Comics history, especially for Thor. But saying that to modern Marvel Comics, that's not saying much.
No comment.
But yeah, if Marvel wants to continue with the cinematic universe, just try and keep things focused. Try and usher out a little less of the humor that they try to force feed into these movies. But at the same time, don't try to be all serious. It's like trying to find a delicate balance.
So, if I'm right in thinking this, try to do what they did with Batman Begins, where there's just a little bit of levity here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And also, and one gripe that I really need to address: don't treat your legacy characters as if they were cannon fodder.
Oh boy.
Please don't.
Yeah.
No, I would agree with. Oh, sure.
And the villain motivations. And again, I go back to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Did Wanda deserve that little redemption thing? Oh, no. I'm sorry. I did not feel any amount of sympathy for her whatsoever in that final moment.
Shit.
What you mean, bro? Also, did freaking Xavier had to die?
No, I agree with you on that, but I'll get some merits to that redemption arc if it had been done right, but I will get that when it's my turn.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know anymore.
All right.
I think I've said my piece there.
Madam President, you're up.
Okay, so I do admit that there is some inconsistencies to the MCU as of late, ever since the end of, well, no pun intended, Endgame, where it's like, I feel like that should have been the end.
Yeah.
Where, again, Disney has got to get their money, and they got to pay for that streaming service.
Oh, we've got loads of money now. Oh, more movies about me. You haven't had a movie in years.
But I do admit there are some, some cohesion problems. I will admit that. Especially with them trying to tell stories within these TV shows, and with them having to try to do it on the same budget as you have the movies. You have one problem, though. You're stressing out your special effects team. You want to know why freaking Quantumania, Multiverse of Madness, Thor: Love and Thunder look the way they do? It's because the special effects crew have been working themselves to the damn bone.
Yeah.
Some of them have actually quit the business.
Yeah, and that makes me feel bad. And it's again, your special effects crew is... These people are working hard to make your film look as realistic as possible, considering the fact you're doing movies about superheroes who fly around or have superpowers. Yeah, you're working these people to the bone. There are some series where it's like it's like a character piece to a degree. Hawkeye, for instance, I will admit that is a good character piece because we got to see a little bit of what Barton had to offer, because he was kind of given the royal shaft in the movies, and aside from Age of Ultron, where he was suddenly given this family, where it's like, okay, that came out of nowhere. All right, okay, but again, I want them to have a little bit more cohesion here. You're telling these character pieces, but at the same time, you want to tell these exciting stories, and as I've been saying, cohesion is a good thing. Just gotta have your story have consistency, otherwise it's just a jumbled mess. And the only thing I will say about Multiverse of Madness, it's like, it was a good idea on paper. It was executed slightly poorly, especially what they did with Wanda, because WandaVision was a beautiful piece of a person going through the grief she went through. Oh, but suddenly she gets a magic evil book and all of a sudden she turns heel. I'm like, no. And then she starts murdering people. I'm like, I know grief will make you do crazy things, but it won't turn you into a psychotic maniac. No matter what influence you have on some kind of dark book. I get it. We had Sam Raimi. We want to use the Sam Raimi-ness. It's like, I get it. I like Sam Raimi. I love Sam Raimi. But you don't need to do that to a character who suffered enough. And guess what, people? She's probably not fucking dead because they need her for that Agatha Harkness show that's coming out, which apparently, again, I'm gonna say this clearly, who asked for that? Nobody asked for that.
Not me.
Nobody asked for that. Okay, and 2, they need her because, again, Elizabeth Olsen signed a contract. So, guess what, people? As much as you're saying that, like, she's like, you're not gonna feel any sympathy for her, well, guess what? She's, gonna come back either way, so, it's like, none of that mattered. Just basically character assassinating her did not matter. Because guess what? She's gonna come back.
God,
that's what bothers me. Yeah, that's what bothers me. Don't get me wrong. I love Elizabeth Olsen and I love her portrayal as Wanda, but therein lies the problem. You fucked her over in this movie. And my piece saying about Love and Thunder, you make cancer a joke.
No.
It's funny. I get it. Jane's trying to find the freaking optimism, the fact that she's slowly, possibly dying. Don't make jokes about it.
Nope.
It's like, cancer is not a joke. I mean, if you're gonna try to find, like, levity in the fact that you're trying to find, keep your chin up because you know either A, you're gonna beat this or you're going to die. And, again, ending with her death being a joke, it's like, really? That's what we're doing? And look, again, I like Taika Waititi. I have no problems with him, and he did great in Ragnarok, but he should have at least, like, done something a little bit more cohesive instead of throwing jokes where we needed him. You need to find balance, otherwise, again, you're either going to get a farce or you're going to get something with, again, like I said, buzzword here, no cohesion.
Oddly,
it needs to work.
Oddly
Otherwise,
enough,
you're just gonna. Sorry.
Oddly enough, Chris Hemsworth said the same thing. Why he's not working with him for a while.
Yeah.
Thank you. Just, I don't know. And also, I feel like Phase 4 was just building up all these other heroes at this point. We're building a lot of female heroes. Like, for example, we're adding Kate Bishop. We're building up Kamala Khan. We're doing something with Captain Marvel, even though I think at this point, just bring Rogue in, suck up Carol Danvers, and we never have to deal with Brie Larson ever again.
Yeah.
Yes, am I angry about that? Sorry, I don't like Brie Larson. Not because of her politics, because
that's a different that's a different issue.
She has about as much personality as Ronda Rousey, and that's about none. Sorry. So, in other words, well, get your act together. Otherwise, people are just going to walk away from this, and then you're going to be stuck with a streaming service with shows and programs nobody's going to want to watch, except for maybe What If, because I actually like that. Aside from that, have some, develop some cohesion. Get your shit together. Otherwise, people are just going to walk away.
And it comes as no surprise if the rumors are true, because we don't have confirmation. It's probably why Marvel are trying to talk RDJ into coming back as a variant of Iron Man for the next phase, because there's rumor that he's going to be involved with Armor Wars somehow. But
damn it.
Oh man.
Well, this is the problem. When you have a universe-shattering event like Endgame, where Iron Man is gone and Captain America retires, you've got two of your big hitters now out of the game, no pun intended. The only character that's holding the MCU up is Spider-Man. Now, thankfully, he's around for another trilogy. But there's going to come a time where even Tom Holland can't look like a teenager or a man in his early 20s for too long. I mean, the fact that Tobey Maguire, who was in his is in his early to mid 30s at the time he did Spider-Man 3. He looked good for his age. Now, not so much. You can't pull off teenage Peter anymore, nor would we expect him to. If it was a voiceover, if you do some manipulation in post-production, you can make someone sound younger. They probably could have tried to do that with Jeff Bridges for the 1989 scenes where that was really bad CG to make him look like younger Kevin Flynn, whereas now it's like, just deep fake it. But if they do bring back Tony Stark, they've got to do it in such a way where they don't cheapen his death at the end of Endgame. So let's say they have an Iron Man from Reality 592, for the sake of discussion, where there's enough of Tony's personality traits from that one that's similar to the one they lost, but he's different enough to where he stands out on his own. And that would be a challenge for RDJ, to be similar but different. And Sean's just made a good point. Having RDJ isn't going to help you. Try have better writing instead. Yes.
Good luck with that.
Yes. I mean, I personally think, this is just my 2 cents, why not do what they did in the comics and have Nick Fury gradually retired as the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. and have Tony Stark succeeded, because they did that in the comics. I would rather see Tony become like... I think most people can relate to this, whether it's basketball or soccer or even football. You have a player-coach situation, someone who watches from the sidelines and gives directions, but when they see a situation that only they can see how they can fix it, that's when they put the jersey on and say, put me in. That's what I think they probably should have done for Iron Man. Just have him as like a player coach, reserve player situation. Have him brought out when you need, like, auxiliary plan, or it's like guys, what happened? What's the play? Code Iron Man. Oh shit, we're in that much trouble. So yeah, if they bring RDJ in, that's what I think they need to do. Have him take the Nick Fury mold, but make it his own.
Just had a thought as well.
Sure.
Sorry for butting in.
No, go on.
Therein lies a problem with adapting a whole comic book universe into film. As time goes on, actors are going to get older, and eventually, I know we hate to say this, but some of them will eventually pass on. I mean, they've had to recast Harrison Ford in the part of Thunderbolt Ross for an upcoming Thunderbolts movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't go on doing that forever.
No. I still maintain they should have brought Sam Elliott back in, but what do I know? Because I personally liked him as Thunderbolt. I thought he was good. Because William Hurt, I liked him as an actor. I think he was good. He was not General Ross to me. I look at Sam Elliott, that's General Ross. He had the look, but he also brought a lot of compassion to the role, which I thought was very different and unique. Whereas with Hurt, and I'm saying this constructively, I just felt like he was going through the motions. But that's just me. Raiden, we haven't gotten to you. What would you like to see the MCU do, and what would you like to see them walk as far away from as possible? Uh-oh.
Where do I begin?
Grab the popcorn, folks. This is going to be good.
Alright, look. When the MCU started, it was gradually good. The way they built things up was cool. but I feel like now they got way too big for their britches. Is that only?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I just feel like now they got way too big for their britches.
Yeah.
And notice I said britches, not the you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, look. For me, what I wish to not see ever again is like the same old formula like Steven said. He said. You have the origin story, which is done well, but you have the characters, like, oh, I forgot to tell you, like, I do this. I'm talking about Shang-Chi here because I feel like that's the same old formula. Character goes back to Homeland, character feels bad, he has to make amends, da-da-da-da, big fight scene, da-da-da-da, post credit, yeah, that's what I see with every single Marvel. Like, I agree with your brother, it's the same old formula. I just want to see cohesiveness back. I want to see the storytelling so we can go to another movie. They've done that, but I feel like they've dropped the ball with it. Like, for example, look at the Netflix show. They were able to do things that the Marvel movies couldn't do. Have a lot more mature themes. Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, but they still stayed with the formula. Over the time, they got bad writing, and sadly, a lot of them got canceled. But luckily, you have a guy like Charlie Cox, aka Daredevil, who's back. We will get another Daredevil show. This time will be different. For me, I just want to see the same old like creativity and energy that you give to these characters, to these roles, to these shows, not just same old. Like, I see it way too much. Like, that's why a lot of times I'm not interested because I know what I'm going to get. Now, I've heard some good things about Moon Knight. I'll check out a little bit of that, but I feel like it's just at the point where, what are you doing that's different? Because I've seen it way too many times with superheroes. It's like, you gotta have cohesive. You gotta have a structure. And that's what I'm seeing with James Gunn and his team with the upcoming DC movie. I want to see the same energy for Marvel. Because before all that, before Disney purchased them, I feel like we were in a good place. You had good shows like Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Spectacular Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
It's like, what are you doing? You're gonna keep putting the same media into the same movie universe or made movie style. It's like, what are you doing that's different? You're just making these two kiddified
Oh,
to
don't.
appease an audience. I've seen way too much of like merchandising of like hit stuff. Like, for what I liked with Wakanda Forever, they did more storytelling, and that was because you had the hands of a good director, Ryan Coogler. That's what I want to see more in these Marvel movies. I want to see a good story. I want to see how it gets played out. I want to see the main character struggle, and then he or she can solve it. And it's like what Stephen List said with these type of movies like Multiverse of Madness. Like, what the hell were you thinking with Wanda? Yeah, she's gone through some grief, but killing everyone is not gonna help you solve anything. Even though some of them kind of had it coming. Seriously, the Illuminati was like, "Oh, you destroyed the universe. Oh, you did this. Oh, you did that." Yeah, okay, die, whatever.
Yeah,
They
passive
didn't deserve
passive
to,
aggressive is
like,
never a
whatever.
good look.
Yeah, but from what I've heard, I'm hearing that there might be some plans. Like, for example, Deadpool 3 that is going to come out like 2025 or whatever, or 2024. I'm happy to see that Hugh Jackman is going to come back as Wolverine. For me, my main thing that I've wanted to see for years is the X-Men done right. Because aside from First Class, and Days of Future Past, and to an extent X1, first X-Men movie and X-Men 2, the rest was shit.
Yeah.
The problem is with Marvel, you try to spin off so many times, and they fail miserably. Like New Mutants. For what it's worth, I thought the movie was okay. I wish it had I wish they got the same actors, actresses for the next X series, but it's just like I said, spin-offs. Too many
Mhm.
spin-offs. Too many shows. You're overcompensating. They're gonna end up like the '90s. And
Yeah.
if anyone knows, it was one of the worst years they've they've went through. They had to sell
Mm.
their rights to different studios, even though some of them were great. High Blade 2, Lucky Blade Trinity.
I've
But
heard mixed things about Blade Trinity.
yeah, yeah, behind the scenes was good. Anyway, for what I want to see with Marvel, like I said, I just want more structure. I want more cohesive. I want more
Mhm.
like big shows that build up to movies, or movies to build up to more movies as well, with different ideas, not the same old bullshit where you gotta go with too much too much quantity. It's 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 the reason why people are just turning away from Marvel movies, and the whole Marvel in general. Not even that, comics. I've heard some messed up things going on, especially with Spider-Man.
Uh,
That's
Mhm.
Yeah,
I know,
yeah,
I know,
Dan,
Steve. I know, Steve.
Dan showed
I know.
me why they're trying to keep Parker away from Mary Jane. He's like, oh, I love her more like a sister. What the fuck y'all doing?
Dude,
see what you
ew.
see what you started, Quasada.
Oh shit.
That
Yeah.
is not flying well with me.
Okay, okay,
Very-
okay. Internet, word to the wise: don't piss Sir Stephen off. Just saying.
Don't. I
Heck,
like a happy
Any,
face.
anyway, a lot of the times when I'm creating my points, I repeat myself, and I hate doing that. But
Mhm.
as I've said, what I want from Marvel is to focus on actual storylines that can build certain characters that we love, so we can see in the movie. They did that before, but now they're getting too big for their britches. They have to have cohesiveness. That's the main thing we want to see for our favorite favorite heroes. You're
Mhm.
not. What I'm seeing is just so much backwash, like I see with WWE for so many years.
oh, don't get me
I want
started
to
on
see
that
structure.
again.
I want to
Mhm.
see
Mm.
my favorite characters to do great things, not for them to just like look bad. So, in my final conclusion, I just want Marvel to just start from scratch and build these characters that we would like to see, that we would love to see in the comics, and take away that same formula we've seen with Marvel movies that we see now. That's all I want to see. It's at the point where you you got to take a break.
Yeah.
What
Well,
are we?
Yeah.
What are we? What are we doing?
yeah.
What are we actually doing?
I mean, this is why I walked away on a part-time basis after Endgame, is because where do you go from there? I mean, I only stuck around for Spidey because, despite some of my misgivings with MCU Spider-Man, I liked what they did with No Way Home. Far From Home is okay. It's not perfect, but it's okay. Um, and it's like Kaiju said, had it not been for the nostalgia factor of bringing in the heels and bringing in the previous Spider-Man, No Way Home probably wouldn't have been as big as it was.
Mm.
And I'll agree
Mhm.
to that, but Andrew Garfield really needed his redemption arc. Like, he needed it
Yeah,
Oh
so
yeah,
bad.
absolutely.
he did that.
Um, I mean, when I hear the stuff that they were doing um, with the fourth Thor movie, but where it was more jokey and more comedic as ever, and I'm like, why can't you do what they did with the straight to DVD animated movie Hulk versus Thor, where there's this importance of Asgardian heritage and nobility. You actually have Thor speaking as a noble warrior, and I get that it was a great thing to have Thor portrayed in a very sympathetic light with Infinity War and Endgame, because this is a man who lost everything. I mean everything. And to see him spiral into, well, would I be right in saying that in the first portion of Endgame he became depressed?
Yes.
Yeah.
He spiraled into a state of depression, and he was looking for something to give him meaning, to give him something to focus on, which is why I understand why he wanted to wear Iron Man's Infinity Gauntlet. It's like, let me be the one to do it. I lost everything. I want to do something that has meaning. I want to be able to bring back everything we lost. Because for him, that was redemption. Now, as to whether he would have survived the effects of that Infinity Gauntlet, it's hard to say. Although the way they explained it, where the Infinity Stones is mostly gamma energy and that Bruce was able to withstand it, I thought, okay, from a writing and logical perspective, that makes sense. Because it... Go on.
Sorry.
No, go on.
Apparently that's what some fans are theorizing, how Jane Foster ended up getting cancer.
Huh.
Yeah.
Because of what happened in Thor: The Dark World.
And Sean's just said, and Sean's just said, well, look at Hulk's arm. I said he was able to survive it. I didn't say he wouldn't come out of it unscathed, dude. Because even he said that the energy is mostly gamma, and there are some parts of it that are uncharted and, unlabelable, if that's even a word.
Mm-hmm.
But they need to give audiences a reason to return to this franchise, and as you will have said, get the writing in a place whereby it makes sense, it's cohesive, and you actually don't treat your characters, current characters, like an afterthought. Especially don't treat the legacy characters like an afterthought. I mean, you don't do that to Patrick Stewart's, Charles Xavier. I was like, what is wrong with you people? I mean, it was different to see Stewart's Charles Xavier in a very humbled and sympathetic light in Logan, because this is a mutant who is suffering from a degenerative disease, and you're looking at a man that he's almost looking to redeem himself from something that he did involuntarily, because Charles Xavier, throughout the course of history, yeah, he's made some bad calls on occasion, but he always tries to put things back afterwards. And, particularly throughout X1, X2, The Last Stand, I'm on the fence with both Xavier and Logan with what he was doing with Jean Grey. I get Logan's point of view, but I also get Xavier's point of view. It's like, you don't know what I'm trying to contain within her. It's like, you let this thing out of her. This is a force of nature. I understand your point of view, but you haven't seen what I've seen. And I don't know. I think, and this is why, even though I don't agree with rebooting the DC cinematic universe is the right thing to do, I simply say, struggling struggling for names. The director of the first two X-Men movies, and he also did Bryan Singer. Because folks were looking to reboot the X-Men franchise completely after X-Men First Class. Singer comes along and says, no, wait. Give me one movie, I can fix everything. And I mean everything. And he did! He brought the two generations together that was linked by Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, and they did away with what happened with X-Men Origins Wolverine. Ugh. I'm sorry, throw that movie into the trash. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
I mean, Hugh Jackman was great in that. I'll give the man that. And Ryan Reynolds, for what little amount of part he had as Deadpool, I like those aspects that he gave. But the rest of the movie, throw it in the same dumpster fire of that Thunderbirds 2004 is in. Sorry, not sorry. And then, of course, you know, erasing what happened with X3. You could tell from a writing point this was no longer Singer's work, because I like Brett Ratner for what he did with the first two Rush Hour movies, but he was not the guy for The Last Stand. It should have been someone else. And the fact that they, like I say, linked the two different generations but did it right, that's how you fix it. That's all DC had to do, was do, say, maybe one or two movies that would have fixed it. And Random and I don't agree with everything, but I agree with what Marvel did. Instead of rebooting it, just fix it with the writing over the next couple of movies. You know, don't... Alright, if you have, say, 3 to 4, 5 or 6 movies down the line and it's not working and it's tanking at the box office, okay. And if there's like too much continuity bogged down, yeah, that's when you hit the reset button. But there was potential with what they were doing with things like Aquaman. And we so badly wanted a Man of Steel 2 for Henry Cavill, because he deserved it after everything he's been through. And at the end of Black Adam, there was that glimmer of hope. It's like, yes, nope, reset. Ugh. So now is DC's and Warner Brothers' time to look at what's happening with Marvel. It's like, this is your door of opportunity now. Make this count. Make it count. And also, with Warner Brothers, more entertainment, less to no politics whatsoever. If you're going to have politics, make it a thought in the background, something that works within the context of the show. Don't shove it in your face, because this is why She-Hulk didn't work. And the fact that we are getting a Batman movie, but it's the Bruce Wayne and Damian Wayne situation, which is like, okay, this could be interesting. I don't know. There's a whole slew of things that DC have got to do. Because like I say, this is their chance. This is their chance to take it away from Marvel. All I'm going to say to James Gunn and DC Studios is, don't screw this up. Please do not screw this up. Marvel